My bad. I was not trying to do that. I'm thinking I'm on my phone where I can pause it. Oh, I can pause it. I just hit the wrong button. Girl, so now I have to start a whole nother video, which I cannot stand. So we're not gonna do, I don't know why this is, okay, there it is. It was blown out. We're not gonna do the intro again. We're just gonna start. I get long-winded anyway. But the Alabama Solution, this is a documentary. This is a Forbes, let me see, Forbes True Crime. It is an interview with the journalist for the Alabama Solution. So I'm jumping in here because they're reporting from a reporter standpoint of somebody that is just been taken aback because they're hearing these stories and they're like, let's get this, and which I'm glad, because they have the tools I don't have. I can tell my stories all day long, but I don't have that reach at all. I have just very little reach, so I can't reach many people. And then when I do reach, I reach for the bad apples that aren't trying to hear what I'm saying anyway. But they have that reach. They have that credibility behind them. They're not inmate's wife, right? So by me being the inmate's wife, that takes my credibility away. They think I'm just supporting criminals and can't do nothing better with my life. I can't find nobody free. And so they think it's basically just making excuses for my loved one's poor behavior, which is not. My loved one is innocent. I don't care if you don't want to believe it or not. I'm going to take that to my grave, that he's innocent. I have done the research. I've done more research than the darn lawyer should have done, right? I know he's innocent. I know for a fact. And just because you don't want to hear it does not change that fact that he's innocent. So they're reaching a broader audience by this documentary. So I was listening to this interview and I wanted to chime in. I was in the shower, girl, and I have my phone on the counter and I have to keep jumping out the shower, wiping my hands off because I got to comment. Then, I got the little silly carpal tunnel that makes it almost impossible to comment, so it keeps making mistakes and stuff, and I gotta delete my comment and try to comment again and delete it and try to do it again. So it took really all morning, but I really almost like spam the comment section when someone is talking something that I truly do know about this. And it's like it's refreshing too, because I've been a prison wife since 2002. 2001 if you want to include county jail, and you just don't hear this type of talk. They have been suppressing these stories for so long, like you don't hear this, and to finally be not the only voice talking about this feels so good. It one gives me the know that no, I was not crazy, because you start to question yourself, right? And it's also giving me the validation. It's validating my words to others, not just to myself, to others, that, oh, maybe that crazy girl that was with that inmate and thought she was gonna get him free, maybe she wasn't lying, y'all. Maybe she was actually being truthful. Maybe we should have heard her out when she was on Facebook posting her dang on heart out for years upon years upon years, and just begging us to just look at his petition. And we could have easily helped put their family back together, but we would have rather ridiculed her than to have done any of that. But it's just, it feels good. So let's get right into it. I'm going to let it play, and I'm going to chime in every now and then.
Yeah, prison system.
One thing, as journalists interacting with people where the stakes are so high, and
I'm cutting in the middle.
Great risk. It's obviously very, can be very stressful, can be you worry about them. I think also, but for us, it's, you know, one fraction of what it might feel like for family members who can't get in touch with their loved ones or can't speak.
Oh, I think they oh, let's back up. We didn't hear the question because I'm finna answer that from the family member's perspective.
So, as journalists interacting,
Ugh.
Ability to lead and have been managing a nonviolent approach to protesting their conditions would be so valuable in society. Does it serve anything, including public safety, to be damaging people inside the?
That's what he asks. Does it serve anybody? Because the reason that most uphold this system, and I found firsthand when I advocate, the main reason people are for this is because their safety. Allegedly, their safety is number one. They're thinking about, hey, it's the only thing we have to, you know, and then it's still not safe. So if we made reforms to this, somehow it would become more unsafe, which is not true, because you don't really know. You know how they're telling you they're doing it. You know in theory how they're doing it. But in practice, you don't know what they're doing. You don't know the corners they're cutting. You don't know the motives behind why they're cutting these corners. You don't know why they're filling these penitentiaries. You don't know the answers. And I keep trying to tell you the answers. I'm filling in the blanks for you. Like if it was an open book test, I'm giving you the answers. Write in the blanks. Fill it in. This is why mass incarceration is happening, and you don't care because you think that is keeping you as safe as possible, when it's not. It's the practices that allow the guilty party to stay on the street. It is the practices that put the innocent bodies behind the bars, allegedly. It is these practices that are not even giving the victims who were doing this all in the name of actual justice. So if we're not doing that, what the jail are we doing? What is this for? I can tell you what it's for. It's for money, allegedly. It's all for the love of money. People would incarcerate innocent people for the love of money, allegedly. People would do all that they do. That's what it's about. And I'm trying to tell you, and other people are trying to tell you, but I don't have the credibility behind my name for you to even believe one word that comes out of my mouth. But it doesn't benefit society for this to be happening to people being locked down for years upon years and decades upon decades and just being abused. And then not everybody have life sentences, so they come back to your street after being abused for decades. What do you think they're going to do upon being released? Ding, 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 ding. Commit another crime, allegedly, most likely. Some may not, though. But many do. And they commit the crime against you and the public, your loved ones, yourself, whoever may be a victim, and then they go back to the prison, the money pot, allegedly. So that's why they love recidivism. They would rather you rotate in and out of their system than to rehabilitate you and have you stay home with your family, right? It's not about that. And people that are whole families, the truth, you know, what they don't want you to hear, a whole family is actually gonna bring down your crime rates. That's why, allegedly, they did so much to dismantle our families. Y'all don't want to believe that either. But they strategically put so much in place so that the family, especially the BLK family, it started with us and now they're doing it to other families. It always starts with us, allegedly. But now I'm just playing the victim card. That's what I'm told. Instead of listening to truth, people attack on sight. But it's not helping anybody in society. If you wanted to be safer, allegedly, you would help reform this system.
These institutions, and then expecting them to come out, we give them $40 and a bus ticket, and somehow miraculously overnight they're going to be able to rejoin society. So it's not actually helping public safety either
At
for
all.
us to be managing this kind of prison system.
One thing, as journalists interacting with people where the stakes are so high, and who are taking such great risk, it's obviously very, can be very stressful. Can be you worry about them. I think also, but for us, it's one fraction of what it might feel like for family members.
That's the question as well. How does it feel for the family members? It is nerve-wracking. Like I always say, if something happens to your loved one while they're incarcerated, you will never, listen to what I'm saying, never. I know you think that this is a just system where they can't do that. Oh, they can't do, baby, they do what the jail they want to do. That's their world. You gave them all access to whatever they wanted to do. Y'all put that battery in their back. So now they are definitely going with that. So you'll never get the truth about what happened to your loved one. I even have stories about that. I have told that, where Marcello have called me crying because he have seen some things. And he was crying, telling me to reach out to whoever I can. And who the jail do I reach out to? Nobody will even listen to me. I have no voice. I have no platform. I have no credibility. I have no reach. Who can I tell? Who can I run to? Like, for real. And you'll never know what happened to your loved one. You call the minute, just like when the shutdown of 2020. We seen from these underground phones posting all over social media, we seen the horrors that our loved ones were in. But then you call the institution, oh, everything is lovely, fine and dandy. People can't find their loved ones. They ain't heard from their loved ones. And that's why me and Marcello had it. If I don't hear from you in a certain amount of time, I am to start trying to dig, but it doesn't mean they're going to give me the answers. And a lot of times when you are just calling, and that's all you could really do, you can't do nothing. Like, thank God. Now, I'm going to tell you, Miss Anna Escamani, there's a representative that actually did go into the prison and check on Marcello for me. When they did that bogus stuff and he was up there on that Alabama-Florida line. Now, the correction officers do cross the lines. There's Florida officers that go work in Alabama. There's Alabama officers that come work in Florida. And up there on that line, that's where we experience some of the most artism there is. And that's where they were trying to terminate me and Marcello's visits. After visiting for over 20 years, not one infraction. This is how we raised our daughter together. And you're laughing at me because you're basically covering your butt because Marcello wrote a grievance on you. That is the only way an incarcerated citizen has to combat this madness that they're going through. A grievance. And you interrupt the grievance, interfere the grievance. You took it and you addressed it yourself. The grievance is written on you. You're not even ever supposed to see it. And then when I called the heads in the Capitol, they told me that has nothing to do with that. That was a coincidence. They backed them off rip, they back them. You can't get no answers. They're always right, even when you point out how they're wrong per code, such and such. Their own codes, they will violate their own codes, and it's all okay. But you'll never, ever, ever get the truth. And it's harder for the family because we have no way. But Miss Anna, after that, I knew they were going to try to retaliate on Marcello. I knew it. If I'm calling the Capitol, if I'm calling this person, the attorney general, and this person that don't even really care, they're not even answering the phones and stuff. You getting the call around. You don't even know who to call, to be honest, but you're trying to call somebody. You're calling the warden. What is that really going to do but cause more retaliation, allegedly? But Miss Anna Eskamani, I told her the issue, and she went in, and because she was at the time my state representative, and I'm sorry, she was my Florida, she was my House representative, but she went in and checked on Marcello, ensured me that Marcello was okay. And she is one of the ones that are for criminal justice reform. Now, I used to attend many of their, in January, coming up soon, they will have their sessions, open sessions. This is when, and somebody told me yesterday, I cannot stand them. Oh, all you have to do is, what do you mean just changing the laws isn't much? Baby, number one, you can't get a good law passed. It will never make it past committee. Any laws to reform never make it past committee. But any dumb law that really is just going to further hurt us, allegedly, will get pushed right on quickly and in a hurry. So number one, you really can't get these laws changed, no matter how hard you try. But then when you do change the law, if by chance you get the law changed, it means nothing if it's not going to be enforced. We have many laws. We already have laws and rights and stuff that they violate left and right. So what good is changing the law? That's not going to do too much, allegedly. So someone comes out, what do you mean changing the law isn't that much? Is exactly what I meant with all my carpal tunnel energy, because it took me a lot to say that. It ain't gonna mean much. What rights mean nothing if you can't enforce them. Laws mean nothing if we don't have the ability to enforce them, allegedly. So I don't know. I'm going to run out of time. Sorry. So much of a review. But she actually went in. But most people that are, they don't want to, number one, they're just in these positions to try to move up in rank. Same thing with the legal system, the judges, which Marcello's judge moved up to Supreme Court judge. So he got Marcello's wrongful conviction and whoever else he probably allowed to be wrongfully incarcerated, allegedly. That built up his record for being tough on crime. And that helped with his, when he was promoted. Marcello offered Marcello plus more backs. But most, just like they are not going to really, it's a game, and it's a kind of climbing the ladder type thing for them. It's not really making sure you get justice. That's the girl, if you do get justice, that's a oddball thing. That's a blue moon type situation if you do get justice, allegedly, in that system. But that's not what they're there for, right? Just as these representatives, these people that are supposed to be representing us, and from the governors to the senators, they are not, most of them allegedly are not there for us at all. They are there to climb their same ladder, right? They're there to make a name for themselves, and they're not going to go against popularity because they won't get voted back in, allegedly, right? So they're going to go with the flow. They're going to go with this. And the flow is the way the money goes. That's the flow. That's going with the flow. They're not going to be there for us. So for her to actually go in there and check on my husband, she is one of the few that are for criminal justice reform, even though there are many that are for criminal justice and prison reform. But they give her a hard time. It's the old heads that want to keep things the way it is. You got new, younger, fresh people that are really trying to do the job, actually get in the chair and do the job. We got old people in the chair but not doing the job. Like, what are you there for? That's just like when you are in your workplace. Forget it. This ain't a review no more because I done started talking too much. We'll review later when I come from work. But that's just like when you work. You know how, like, it happens to me all the time. You got some employees that don't do nothing, and you have to literally do all the work. You have to do your job plus their job, but you only come and collect your check. You don't get none of their check, but you have to pick up their slack. You are the one that's constantly holding things together while they're just being dead weight, but they're collecting a check. Allegedly, that's what a lot of our representation are doing. They're not there allegedly for us, the people, at all. They're just there for themselves. But there are some that have every criminal justice reform bill, even though they bat it down. I'm still holding my breath for criminal justice reform in Florida. Florida is one of the hardest states. Most of the other states are pushing back anyway. So if anything gonna happen, we gonna be the last freaking goddamn people in line. You got California doing stuff that Florida wouldn't even imagine doing, wouldn't even think of hearing doing. Florida's one of the worst states to be your butt incarcerated in too. But the criminal justice reform bills are always backed by the same representatives, the same senators, the same people, the same House reps. It's just a small handful. The rest. But yeah, I got off track. But y'all know that's Cadillac. Cadillac get off track. But I get so passionate. It's like music to my ears to finally hear, like, it's been so long, y'all. If we had this actual justice system, my husband wouldn't even be in prison. They wouldn't have done a day. But also, I think my family had to have gone through this. No matter how much this hurt we had to, God took us down this way. Because we are to pave a better way for others. Because this monster ain't stopping today. Marcello's on the tail end of his wrongful conviction, right? He's on the tail end, which we never thought he would get through this. Do you know at age 19 when he was wrongfully arrested and 20 when he was wrongfully convicted? I never thought this day would almost be here. I thought I was going to break his story and he would be home, because the alternative was waiting 40 years. How could I wait 40 years? How could he wait 40 years? We're going to miss our whole lives. We're not going to be able to we couldn't have more children. Florida don't have conjugal visits. Our family stopped. Well, no, it didn't. God had another plan. We got grandchildren now. If we get out tomorrow, we might can have one more child. We never know. Girl, I ain't been using factories, so it probably still works. But all right, guys, I'm going to let you go. Today is supposed to be grandma and granddaughter day. So I'm going to take my granddaughter out for lunch. And then I'm going to go put on my checkered skin and get ready for work. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Hiss your girl Cadillac.